Hi, my name's Tim Clarke. I'm a director at Harrison Clarke Chartered Surveyors, and in this video we'll be exploring different methods of dealing with lease end dilapidations from a tenant's perspective. Commonly, at the end of a commercial lease, your landlord or their surveyor will inspect the condition of your leased building and send you a Schedule of Dilapidations. The Schedule of Dilapidations will detail works required to ensure that you comply with your lease, along with cost estimates for completing the works. When you or your business receives a Schedule of Dilapidations, you will be faced with a choice. You will either need to complete some work to comply with your lease, reach a financial settlement with your landlord, or take a combined approach whereby you complete some works and settle financially for others. Which path you choose will depend on your specific circumstances, and we will explore some of the pros and cons of each option. This video applies only where your landlord has sent a Schedule of Dilapidations prior to lease end. If you receive a Schedule of Dilapidations after lease end, we can help, but you will likely be limited to negotiating a financial claim. The principal benefits to completing the work yourself are that you will be able to control costs, and the threat of a dilapidations claim after the lease has ended will be significantly lower, meaning cost certainty is achieved more quickly. You might see the costs in the dilapidations schedule, which are normally estimates, and think that you can complete the work yourself in a more cost-effective manner, either by completing the work as a DIY project or finding a more competitive contractor to do so on your behalf. Many dilapidations claims are settled in this way, as this removes the necessity to pay for expert advice. You might be surprised to know, though, that completing the works yourself can often be the most expensive way to deal with dilapidations. This is because it might not really be necessary to complete all work detailed on the Schedule of Dilapidations. I recommend you watch our video on assessing dilapidations loss to understand why this is. Moreover, unless you are or you use a skilled tradesperson to complete the work could be completed to a poor standard, meaning that the landlord might need to redo the work, incurring further costs. Don't forget that if you decide to complete works yourself, you will still need to do so during the lease term, as you will have no right of access into the building once your lease has ended. The alternative is to negotiate a financial settlement with the landlord. While you can do this yourself, we always recommend using a specialist dilap surveyor to do so on your behalf. Dilapidations is a complex area of law, and it is likely that if you negotiate a claim yourself, you will end up giving away more than you need to for a number of reasons. When negotiating a settlement with your landlord, you should consider circumstances beyond the lease itself, such as whether the building will be repurposed or otherwise altered by a landlord in a way which would mean that breaches of the lease do not cost the landlord money. For example, if a landlord plans to remove a wall, there's no point in incurring the cost in its redecoration. If you use a skilled and experienced dilapidations surveyor, they will quickly identify any flaws in a landlord's claim and can use these to negotiate down a claim. Recently, we have been able to save several clients 90 to 100% of the value of the original landlord's claim, although we cannot promise this for every client. The principal benefits to negotiating are that, depending on the exact circumstances, negotiating a dilapidations claim could be the least expensive way of dealing with your dilapidations liability. And this means that you're not distracted from your core business by arranging building works. This is a slightly more risky method of dealing with dilapidations, however, as the exact settlement figure may not be known until months or even years after lease end, meaning that you may not be able to commit funds elsewhere until the claim has been settled. To reduce the risk involved, you should take advice from an expert dilapidations surveyor up front. Do be careful though, a lot of building surveyors will offer dilapidations advice while really only having a light touch understanding of dilapidations. Using a non-specialist could be a costly mistake. You might have started to complete some work before taking advice from a dilapidations surveyor, or you might have run out of time to complete the works before lease end. You might even have completed all the works and still received a residual claim from your landlord. This is not really a problem, as any claim remaining after you have completed works can be negotiated by a dilapidations surveyor. If you have in-house resources to complete work significantly more cost-effectively than the landlord, it might make sense to do these works in-house rather than pass on a profit margin to another company. The pros and cons set out previously still apply here, but proportionally, depending on the amount of work completed and the amount of claim which needs to be negotiated. No matter how good your relationship with your landlord is during the lease term, this does not mean this business relationship will survive the fallout of a dilapidations claim, as your interests are no longer aligned. Many tenants try to reach an informal agreement with their landlord, who will often be a seasoned property professional. Don't forget that, as with any other business arrangement, it's important to take independent advice, as any advice given by your landlord will be significantly balanced in their favour. Particularly with smaller landlords and tenants, parties to a lease can sometimes take the conflict of a dilapidations claim very personally. Since you could be committing tens of thousands of pounds for no apparent benefit to you or your business, we recommend that you treat this as any other business transaction and complete proper due diligence by taking specialist advice. This might mean some short-term relationship strain, but your bank manager will thank you. Without knowing your specific circumstances, we cannot give an answer in this video, as there is no one-size-fits-all approach. We always advocate that tenants should take advice from a specialist dilapidation surveyor around 6 to 12 months away from lease end. This will allow you time to weigh up your options and to arrange any building works if necessary. To discuss your options to help you make the best decision for you and your business, contact our team of specialist dilapidation surveyors on 02381 550051. We look forward to helping you mitigate any dilapidations claim.